Good day. Welcome to PINOY Power Books. Today we will listen and learn from the book How to Practice, The Way to a Meaningful Life by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Introduction. The Journey to Inner Peace. How to Practice, The Way to a Meaningful Life by His Holiness the Dalai Lama offers a spiritual guide for those seeking to cultivate inner peace, wisdom, and compassion in their everyday lives. Drawing from Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama presents practical steps for reducing suffering and developing a sense of purpose, fulfillment, and kindness. His message is both universal and timeless, appealing not just to Buddhists, but to anyone on a spiritual journey or those seeking a more meaningful life. In the book, the Dalai Lama breaks down complex philosophical teachings into accessible principles. The core practices he emphasizes include mindfulness, meditation, ethical living, and compassion. Through these practices, we can transform our relationship with ourselves and others, and ultimately lead a more content and enlightened life. Below is a detailed summary of the book's main teachings, divided into key areas. 1. The Foundation. Ethical Discipline. The Dalai Lama begins by emphasizing the importance of ethical discipline as the foundation of a meaningful life. He believes that living ethically, through non-violence, honesty, and compassion, lays the groundwork for mental peace and clarity. The importance of morality, ethics, according to the Dalai Lama, are essential because our actions influence not only our immediate environment but also our future well-being. The law of karma, the principle of cause and effect, teaches that every action has a consequence. Living ethically ensures that our actions produce positive outcomes for ourselves and others. He stresses that this isn't about following rigid rules, but rather cultivating a sense of personal responsibility and mindfulness about how we treat others. The three poisons. Central to the Dalai Lama's ethical teachings is the concept of the three poisons: ignorance, attachment, and aversion. These mental states are the root causes of suffering, and they cloud our ability to live ethically. Ignorance leads us to misunderstand the nature of reality. Attachment binds us to fleeting pleasures, and aversion causes us to react negatively to challenges. By practicing ethical discipline, we begin to weaken the grip of these poisons and create space for compassion and wisdom. 5 Precepts for Ethical Living. To guide ethical behavior, the Dalai Lama outlines 5 precepts. Avoid harming any living being, ahimsa or non-violence. Avoid stealing or taking what is not freely given. Avoid sexual misconduct that could cause harm. Avoid false speech and deceit. Avoid intoxicants that cloud the mind. These precepts are not rigid commandments but guidelines for living a life of respect, mindfulness, and integrity. By following them, we create a solid ethical foundation that allows us to progress on the spiritual path. 2. The practice of mindfulness and meditation. Once we have established a foundation of ethical behavior, the next step is cultivating mindfulness and meditation, which are essential for developing mental clarity and emotional stability. The Dalai Lama introduces meditation as a practice to calm the mind and gain insight into the nature of reality. Mindfulness. Living in the present. Mindfulness involves paying full attention to the present moment without being distracted by past regrets or future anxieties. The Dalai Lama emphasizes that mindfulness is not merely a relaxation technique, but a way of being that allows us to fully engage with life as it unfolds. By practicing mindfulness, we become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions. This awareness helps us observe the patterns of our minds and gives us the power to respond to situations skillfully, rather than reacting impulsively. Mindfulness also strengthens our ability to concentrate, which is essential for meditation. Types of meditation. The Dalai Lama explains 2 main types of meditation: calm abiding and insight meditation. Calm abiding, shamatha. This form of meditation helps cultivate a peaceful and focused mind. By focusing on a single object, such as the breath, we train the mind to remain stable and calm. The goal is to develop concentration and inner stillness. Insight meditation, vipassana. This form of meditation seeks to develop wisdom and insight into the nature of reality. By meditating on concepts such as impermanence, suffering, and the interconnectedness of all beings, we begin to see the world in a different way. Insight meditation leads to a deeper understanding of the mind and helps us overcome ignorance, one of the root causes of suffering. Practical tips for meditation. The Dalai Lama offers practical advice for those new to meditation. He encourages beginners to start with short sessions and gradually increase the duration. Consistency is more important than length, and even a few minutes of meditation daily can bring significant benefits over time. It's also important to create a quiet, distraction-free space for meditation and adopt a comfortable posture, typically sitting with a straight spine. By cultivating mindfulness and meditation, we develop the mental clarity necessary to deepen our practice and gain insight into the true nature of ourselves and the world. 3. Wisdom. Understanding reality. Wisdom, according to the Dalai Lama, is about seeing the world as it truly is, free from the distortions of ignorance and false perceptions. In Buddhism, wisdom is often equated with understanding the concept of emptiness, the idea that all things lack inherent, independent existence. The nature of reality, emptiness. The Dalai Lama explains that everything in the universe is interconnected and interdependent. Nothing exists independently or in isolation. This understanding is central to the Buddhist concept of emptiness. When we grasp the truth of emptiness, we realize that our attachment to things, whether it be people, material possessions, or even ideas, is based on a misunderstanding of reality. The illusion of the self. One of the key insights of wisdom is the realization that the self we cling to, the sense of an individual, permanent, I, or ego, is an illusion. This doesn't mean that we don't exist, but rather that our idea of a separate, independent self is misguided. Recognizing the impermanent and interconnected nature of existence helps us let go of ego-driven desires, attachments, and aversions, which are the sources of suffering. Practical wisdom. While the concept of emptiness may seem abstract, the Dalai Lama emphasizes that wisdom is something to be applied in daily life. Understanding emptiness doesn't mean we withdraw from the world or become detached from others. Instead, it allows us to engage with the world more compassionately and skillfully. By seeing the impermanence and interconnection of all things, we become more open to change and less prone to frustration and disappointment. Wisdom also helps us navigate the challenges of life with greater resilience. When we understand that our thoughts and emotions are not fixed, we become more flexible and adaptive, able to respond to life's challenges with equanimity. 4. The practice of compassion. Compassion is the heart of the Dalai Lama's teachings. He believes that cultivating compassion toward all beings, human and non-human alike, is essential for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Compassion, according to the Dalai Lama, is not merely an emotion but a profound sense of responsibility to alleviate the suffering of others. The basis of compassion. The Dalai Lama teaches that compassion arises from recognizing the shared humanity of all beings. Just as we desire happiness and wish to avoid suffering, so does everyone else. By recognizing this commonality, we can develop a deep sense of empathy and concern for others. Self-compassion. Before we can extend compassion to others, we must first learn to be compassionate toward ourselves. Many of us engage in harsh self-criticism and judgment, which only serves to deepen our suffering. The Dalai Lama encourages us to treat ourselves with kindness and patience, acknowledging that we are all imperfect and that personal growth is a gradual process. The Bodhisattva path. In Buddhism, a bodhisattva is someone who has vowed to attain enlightenment not just for their own benefit but for the benefit of all beings. This selfless aspiration is at the core of the Dalai Lama's teachings on compassion. While we may not all be able to make the bodhisattva vow, we can still aspire to act in ways that benefit others. This means offering help, practicing kindness, and contributing to the well-being of those around us. Practical compassion. The Dalai Lama offers several practical ways to cultivate compassion in daily life. Practice empathy. Try to understand the perspectives and emotions of others, even those with whom you disagree. Engage in acts of kindness. Small gestures, such as offering a smile, helping a neighbor, or listening to someone in need, can have a profound impact. Forgive and let go of grudges. Holding on to resentment only harms us. By forgiving others, we free ourselves from the burden of anger and open our hearts to compassion. The practice of compassion not only benefits others but also brings peace and fulfillment to our own lives. When we act with compassion, we align ourselves with the interconnected nature of existence and create a ripple effect of kindness and positivity in the world. 5. Cultivating a meaningful life. At the core of the Dalai Lama's teachings is the idea that a meaningful life is one rooted in ethics, mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion. By practicing these principles, we can transform our minds and hearts, leading to lasting happiness and fulfillment. Happiness through inner transformation. The Dalai Lama emphasizes that true happiness is not found in external achievements or material wealth but in the state of our mind. When we cultivate inner peace through ethical living, meditation, and compassion, we develop a sense of contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. Overcoming negative emotions. One of the biggest obstacles to living a meaningful life is our tendency to be ruled by negative emotions such as anger, jealousy, and fear. The Dalai Lama teaches that we must work to overcome these emotions through mindfulness and wisdom. By understanding the root causes of our suffering, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, we can begin to free ourselves from their grip. The importance of service. Finally, the Dalai Lama stresses that a meaningful life is one dedicated to the service of others. Whether through small acts of kindness or larger efforts to help those in need, serving others gives our lives purpose and direction. It also deepens our sense of connection to the world and reminds us that we are all part of a larger whole. Conclusion. The way to a meaningful life. In How to Practice, His Holiness the Dalai Lama offers a practical guide for transforming our lives and cultivating inner peace. By grounding ourselves in ethical behavior, developing mindfulness and wisdom, and practicing compassion, we can create a life filled with purpose, joy, and fulfillment. The Dalai Lama's teachings remind us that the path to a meaningful life is not about achieving perfection but about making a consistent effort to live with integrity, kindness, and awareness. Through this process, we can reduce our own suffering and contribute to the happiness and well-being of others, ultimately leading to a more peaceful and harmonious world. Thank you for listening to PINOY Power Book Channel. Please like, share, and subscribe for future contents.